What's going on, and welcome into the Casual Gaming News Conversation. I'm Nick, that's Connor, and this is your weekly gaming news podcast from Co-op64. Connor, how are we doing today?
Doing good. I'm excited to talk gaming news, but if I'm being perfectly honest, I'm excited to go play more Night Rain tonight. I'm fiending for the Night Rain.
Yeah.
So I can't wait for it. I'm excited to hop in with the community, hop in with Matt, Nick's friend, is apparently going to hop in with us tonight.
Oh,
yeah. I can't wait for people to really dig into this game and experience it, and I can't wait to play more of it myself. I haven't played it in the last couple days, so I'm excited to get back to it.
Yeah, for sure. Are you at all annoyed that we're going to have to go back to help a lot of people with these bosses?
I'm excited to re-experience a lot of the Night Lord fights with new people and kind of get their reaction on how cool some of these are.
Yeah.
They're just so good. Like, I'm just really excited to experience that with other people. So
Same.
And I'm also excited to like share my knowledge a little bit on this game, because we have played it for so long that I think we have a pretty good grasp on it, and trying to get people up to speed and enjoying that whole process of like getting up to like the higher levels with a new group of people, I think is going to be a lot of fun. So
yeah, I think Matt might be one of the luckiest people out there when it comes to this experience of being like, he's not going to have a lot of the questions that lead to frustration early on when he's playing with us.
We were lost in the sauce completely for the first like 3 hours.
Yeah.
And to watch yourself grow in this game from consistently getting level 10 or 11 going into the final day, which is not great, and then hitting level 12 pretty often, which is where you want to be at the very least. That's like the base floor for the Night Lords, is you want to be at level 12. There's a pretty big jump from 11 to 12, right? Then we were getting like 13, 14, up to 15 at one point, at a couple points, which is the max level, regularly. Like, and seeing that improvement over that 40-hour period of time, like, was so fun. And to hopefully get to experience that with other people now in the community is going to be a lot of fun as well. And see people go on that same arc, same journey, probably do it faster than we did and have things click a little bit quicker. Because you also like, we didn't have a guide to turn to or something. Like, you can't just look it up online of like, what's the best way to go about this? It was just literally just trial and error of like, okay, let's try this at this time. Let's hit the outer edge of the map, and then we can go in, and that helped a lot. So let's do that more in the future, and stuff like that. I think is going to be a lot of fun to re-experience with other people. So you
brought up the not having a guide thing and everything. I can't wait. I think that's right now. The plan is to shoot a How We Review Games podcast for this casual gaming conversation this upcoming weekend. And I'm just like, that's going to be such a good conversation, because I think that might be one of the funniest parts of this entire experience is the amount of times that people are like, wait, like, you didn't know this? It's like, dude, we don't know anything. Like, there is no YouTube video holding your hand. There's no, hey, Mr. Waffle's here, just breaking down what you need to do and everything. It's very clear of like, often trial by fire, go ahead, get after it. And this was a heck of a trial by fire, because for us, like, I played a ton of Elden Ring, but like anyone that plays Elden Ring, unless you played 400, 500, 600 hours, you're learning something new pretty often just by experiencing the game. And so it's been really, really fun. I'm excited to get back to it also. I cannot wait to get back to it for a couple more days until we get Mario Kart, because I can't wait for Mario Kart at this point. I'm full tilt into Switch season. Where are you at right now heading into this?
I don't think about it, period.
Okay.
It will arrive when it arrives, and I will be excited for it when that day comes. But if I think about it too much, it'll make time go slower. So I'm just trying to keep it out of my mind. So that's where I'm at.
Brady and I bought our cases for the Switch 2. Connor was just checking them out. I'm totally just zoned in on one thing. I'm so zoned in on it that I'm like, oh shoot, there's so many things that need to happen before we go and fly out for SGF that like I need to like really dial it in the next few days to just make sure that everything that we need to get done while being in Ohio gets done.
Luckily, we're busy. So when we have something that's really exciting like that, there's other things to be excited about. So I'm taking everything one thing at a time. We were so locked in on Night Rain for so long, and I'm still kind of coming off of that, and I'm still excited to keep playing it. So I have my focus on that like I haven't thought about the Switch 2 unless somebody mentions it to me at all. So, and which I like. I think that's great. I have a lot to be excited about, which is good.
Speaking of things that are exciting and out there, I got a little story for you. This morning, I go and I get a text from you. I get a text from a friend. It's around like 10:30. And as I get that text message, I see a previous text message from my buddy Nathan, who lives in Chicago. And I had that pit in the stomach moment of, damn, I said I was going to do something and I didn't do it. And I was trying to get us Cage the Elephant tickets at 10 a.m. this morning for a late night show for Lollapalooza. And I was like, oh, damn, I didn't do it. I go on my computer. I click on the Ticketmaster tab that I had open, ready to go for 10 a.m. And it says at this point, like 20 minutes left until it goes up for tickets. I was like, what? Wait, what's happening there? And then I realized it wasn't 10 a.m. Eastern because Chicago is Central Time Zone, 10 a.m. Central. So I was like, bet, we got time. Got those tickets. Him and I got fired up. I don't know if there's anything more exciting than like making that big purchase and being like, in a few months' time, baby, it's gonna be awesome.
So that was us with the Switch 2.
Yeah,
like a couple months ago.
Exactly. And so I'm just excited to experience some things. We got a banging summer at this point for you and I with the amount of content that we're going to be producing. And we're going to hop into some of that content because we got to break down the whole game plan for what the heck is happening this next week. There's so much there. We will get into that in housekeeping. But before that, I'm excited to experience all this with you, man. It's going to be a lot of fun. Mm-hmm. Housekeeping for you. We have a Patreon. You can get this show 3 days early. You can get the Casual Gaming Conversation 3 days early. And you can get a bonus episode of the Casual Gaming Conversation every single week. As of right now, the rumor on the street, the word on the street, it's been yapping. We're doing another top 5, ranking your top 5 games of all time for bonus pod this week. It's going to be a bunch of fun. We also just posted The Last of Us The Last of Us Season 2 spoiler cast over there alongside. We have such an amazing backlog of things like the Claire Obscura spoiler cast, Trophy Talk, and a bunch of other podcasts at this point. There are so many hours of content that you can consume over there. It's a great value just at that $5 tier.
Trophy Talk.
I
completely forgot about that.
Come on.
When
dude.
is it going to be Vita Talk time?
Connor,
Wait,
you find a way. You find a way to make that every single podcast. At the $10 tier, you can get amazing shows like Recollection Retro, which is going up this week. Connor talking about his PS3 collection. That goes up tomorrow over on Patreon. And you can get things like the Co-op 64 podcast, where me, Connor Brady, bring a topic to the table. One gets submitted by our dearly beloved members, and we just yap it up. It's a great time. And you can get exclusive TikToks at that $10 tier. For the people that are at the highest tier, you can get your name read at the end of every single podcast we do, alongside getting to submit a topic for the chance for it to be read at the end of the Co-op 64 podcast also. Oh, here we go. There's so much to break down for this next week, but we're going to start out with just a normal Twitch schedule. Monday, we got a big one. Night Rain. This was something that you guys got through Patreon. We were talking about how can we make this the best and most exciting stream possible. This was a Connor idea, and it was a really damn good one. Myself, Connor, and Brady will be playing Night Rain all on the couch with 3 different monitors. We will be doing a classic LAN party for Night Rain, making the call outs, freaking out together, all together in the same location. It's going to be a blast. It's going to be during the normal 7 to 10 streaming hours. We're very, very excited about it. If you're excited about Night Rain, you can see 2 experts go and try to take one wild lad to the promised land.
Are we experts?
As of right now, we are experts.
Yeah, it's funny. I think we're good at this game.
Yeah.
Which I didn't know if we were for a very long time.
We are experts until probably Tuesday next week.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then
I watched Parky and Aggie play it in that like tournament thing pre-release. And I was like, geez, they are so much better than us. Like,
I would say that
we are not experts.
We know the game better than a majority of the people right now.
Right now, yeah. See how many people were playing it last night?
Yeah, 2 million sold, dude. It's
2 million sold. There was 250,000 concurrent on Steam.
That's insane.
Put Elden Ring, the name on anything, and I think it's going to sell really well right now.
Yeah. Now getting into Tuesday will be Sekiro still. Wednesday will be more Zelda for Connor. Which Zelda are you playing again?
A Link to the Past.
Yeah, this is exciting. Connor threw out the call of what should he play next, and it was decided to be A Link to the Past.
Dead Space 2 going toe-to-toe with The Legend of Zelda, A Link to the Past. I was shocked by that. Splinter Cell also hanging in there.
I voted Splinter Cell. Okay. I wanted to play Splinter Cell.
I kind of wanted to play Dead Space, honestly.
Yeah, you always want to play Dead Space, though. And then here's where things get interesting. So strap in. Wednesday night, we will be unboxing the Switch 2. This will be a video that goes up as soon as humanly possible over on TikTok. So we're going to get here. The set's already going to be set up. Connor and I are going to go to Best Buy, pick up his Switch 2, come here, unbox it, all the shenanigans, all the hype, hanging out, making it happen, unboxing the Switch 2 on Wednesday night. Thursday, we will have a stream. It will be Mario Kart from 5 p.m. till 8 p.m. us playing Mario Kart World, myself, Connor, Brady. We might invite another friend over just to get a fourth over and have a good time. But playing Mario Kart World with all of you. If you don't have a Switch, then just come hang out, chill in the vibes. If you do have a Switch, maybe hop in online with us. We 24-player card. We might need to call upon the community to have a good time and get in some shenanigans while playing Mario Kart World. The content does not slow down there. Friday, Summer Game Fest kickoff event live kicks off at 5 p.m. Eastern. We will be live beforehand, pre-streaming, doing all that stuff. Getting excited for the Keeleys, the Summer Keeleys, hanging out with y'all. Friday, 2 p.m. Eastern. 5 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Pacific. You're not going to want to miss it to see what's up next in gaming and see our reactions. After that showcase finishes, the post-game reaction will be casual gaming news for that week. So we will break down the show. We will talk about it. If there's any news stories that we really need to touch on, we can hop in on that. But most likely it will just be the post show for the Summer Game Fest event. That is going to be what takes this place for this show for next week. No content on Saturday. Saturday is us at SGF playing games, getting ready to preview all that content for you. Sunday is the Xbox Showcase reactions. It's going to be us at 10 a.m. I want to say 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern. Seeing what's up next from Xbox. We will react to both Xbox Showcase and the Outer Worlds 2 presentation. Then this podcast, the Casual Gaming Conversation will be the Xbox Showcase breakdown, post-show, all that good stuff there. Then we will be playing more games at Summer Game Fest, getting ready to preview a bunch of titles for you. Monday, we are traveling. Tuesday, we are doing it. Correction, I'm going to force the boys to do it. Summer Game Fest vlog. It is happening. It'll go up on YouTube for everyone. Just what the hell this trip is. There's a lot of fun opportunities of us just hanging out together behind the scenes. I wanted to produce a piece of content like this for a while. It's going to happen. My plan is to edit it throughout the entire weekend so it is ready for y'all on Tuesday morning. And then probably the biggest question of how we are handling content, the Switch 2 content that you are all waiting for, Wednesday. You will get your Nintendo Switch 2 review from myself and Connor. And you will get the Mario Kart World review from myself and Connor over in podcast form and as TikToks for just the short form content. So there's so much bonus content that we are going to be producing for Summer Game Fest week. We want you guys locked in, hanging out with us basically each of these days. We got something going on, it feels like, outside of just the normal content that we are already producing. So if you're excited about any of that, get ready to dial it in. And there's going to be even more content. If you can't get enough of the Summer Game Fest hype, go over to Patreon, check out the betting special, check out all the bonus content we have over there. Discord. Man, that was a lot of that was a lot in housekeeping. Discord, we have a Discord community of over 2,500 members. Go hop in, talk about games, get excited about Summer Game Fest on Tuesday stream. Go and submit your bingo cards. I will be going through the bingo cards. It's going to be a very long stream on Tuesday talking about Summer Game Fest. It's going to be a lot of fun. And that's where you're going to be able to submit them, is in the Discord, linked in the description down below. Merch, co-op64store.com. Pick up some merch. Review us over on Apple Podcasts. And hop into the comment section to let us know if we messed anything up during the show. There was not anything in the comment section, but somebody did hop into my Twitch chat on Tuesday or Thursday and said that the reporting for the BioShock story last week did actually include that it could possibly potentially be a remake. So just a heads up there. It could be a remake of BioShock 1. Other than that, we're good to go.
So unnecessary.
So unnecessary.
Do not remake BioShock 1. It already looks great in the remaster.
All right, moving on. Headline. Microsoft reportedly pauses development on Xbox Handheld. This is Blair Marnell at GameSpot. Quote, last year, a story broke that Microsoft was working on prototypes for an Xbox handheld console that could potentially compete with Valve's Steam Deck. However, a new report suggests that Microsoft is putting aside its ambitions for a dedicated Xbox handheld, at least for now. According to Windows Central, Microsoft is shifting its priority away from its Xbox handheld to focus on improving the gaming performance of Windows 11 on third-party handheld devices, including Asus's Project Cannon. The report notes that Microsoft still has ambitions of releasing its own handheld and is developing additional technology towards that goal. But for the immediate future, that's not a priority. End quote. Connor, we aren't getting a Xbox handheld seemingly for a minute at this point.
But we still might get the Asus thing?
Yeah, we
that
still
it
might
has,
get
like,
that.
the Xbox
Yeah.
skin? Oh.
Yeah,
I thought that was canceling this.
Oh, no. We are not getting the one that is down the line, 2026, 2027 rumored that was going to be the dedicated Xbox handheld. That is what is being canceled. Or not canceled, just pushed down the line. Going into, as I like to say, development hell.
That is never coming out, for sure. Stuff like this, I think that it makes sense for them to focus on those third-party relationships and make it so they can get a better cut of the profits from Xbox games on these platforms, just get more of them running on Steam Deck and the Asus handheld that they're talking about here. But I think that when it comes to like being a dedicated hardware manufacturer, if they're not getting a handheld out in the next year or two, I think it's just too little too late. That like I don't really understand what purpose it serves if all of your games are already running on Steam Deck or this Asus product or the ROG Ally. So I don't know. I think that this was a good idea at first, just to like have another SKU, something that you could fight, have another battleground to fight on for their gaming hardware platforms or whatever, because their current home console is not going great. So maybe you can get a foothold in the handheld console market. But by the time it's 2027 and this market has been flooded with many iterations of these portable handheld PCs, I just think that it just might not be worth it for them, especially when you're coming from the perspective of a lot of people are just kind of souring on the Xbox brand in general. A lot of people are jumping over to PlayStation or PC that by 2027, I don't really know where we're going to be with Xbox from a general public perception standpoint. So I kind of wanted this. I wanted to see this happen. I think it would have pushed PlayStation and Nintendo in some capacity to, for PlayStation, get into the market, or Nintendo to push them with a new competitor. But I'm not really shocked that this is the direction they're going to end up going in and not really trying at all. So
I'm shocked that they're not going to end up trying, because I think that the idea is so sound. It makes so much sense for them to, hey, you're losing when it comes to the console market. Let's go and get in the handheld market. Let's try something out. Everything's an Xbox. That type of branding works really well for, hey, you're on the go with an Xbox. Let's go and pursue that marketing beat. But I do think that if they couldn't get it out in a year, and this is what I said prior, like if you can't get it out in a year or two, then you're going to lose the battle. Like the battle's going to be lost when we do get the Steam Deck 2, when we have the Switch on the market, whatever PlayStation's competitor comes out to those products, which I assume will be in the next couple of years. The only thing that Xbox could really work with is being first. They had to be first with this product.
I think PlayStation, on the other hand, like I think they have more time because they have built so much goodwill and have such a wide fan base right now. I know that PlayStation 5 isn't like the best console for a lot of people, but just there are so many people in that ecosystem, and the idea for a lot of people of just being able to take your PlayStation games on the go is a selling point, enough of a selling point to warrant something, a handheld of that kind. But for Xbox, I feel like you got to convince people to be able to be willing to go spend money on that. So
yeah.
And when you're in a situation for Xbox right now where you are crushing it as a third party on these platforms, and I've been saying that I think they're going to go the way of Sega for a long time now, and I think they've been holding on to the prospect of future hardware, but the numbers that they're seeing on how much money they can make on other platforms right now, they're probably looking at that being like, what is even the point? Honestly, like we're profitable on these other platforms. Let's just go focus on that, and focus on getting really high quality games out, and putting all this effort into a dedicated hardware just is not going to work in the future, or I would like to see it work in the future, but I don't think it's going to. So what's really the point of continuing to fight on this front when we can just put all of our focus on being the best third party that we possibly can be?
Totally. And I think that this is a little bit exciting. It's not just doom and gloom. Just to give a sprinkle of hope in all this, I was a little bit concerned that going into next Sunday, there was a chance that they were going to announce the handheld, and it was going to take up a chunk of that presentation time. For me, even though that product would be for me, those presentations, I always say, are all about the games. It's it's not Mark Cerny. It's who's the old owner of
Reggie?
PlayStation?
Oh, no. Sean Layden?
Before
Jack Trenton.
Before who we currently have right now, the guy who pushed.
Oh, Jim Ryan.
Jim Ryan, thank you. Gosh, I was like, Jeff? No, I couldn't get off Jeff.
Do you know who Jack Trenton is?
Yeah.
It's the PS4 reveal guy, the 2013 event. Oh, just an absolutely killer event.
Legendary.
Legendary.
Yeah. But Jim Ryan's initiative that was, all right, we're going to show you the games. And then that was the opening 2020 summer presentation for them. It wasn't, hey, let's hop into the specs about the console. Let's just show you an hour of fucking awesome games. Xbox did that so well last year that I want them to just run that playbook back again. Show us the games. Right now, they have some of the biggest IP in the world. Make great games with it. You got these awesome studios. Let them do what they're doing well. And focus on the games. I think that you've discussed them going the way of Sega for a long time, and I feel like it's a bad thing for the people that have invested a ton of time in that Xbox ecosystem. I don't think that there's going to necessarily just no longer be an Xbox system for the next generation.
I do. I'm starting to think that if they're going to abandon the handheld front, it's starting to make me think that they might be willing to abandon the home console altogether.
The issue is when there's Xbox gamers that are console gamers that will not Game Pass isn't going on PlayStation anytime soon, so they want a console. They want something in their box or in their home, and I don't think that people are going to be willing to have it cloud stream to a smart TV. They want something that's a little bit better for their Game Pass titles.
Yeah, I know that there is a market out there for this. I just don't know how big the market is for Xbox and if it is continuing to shrink. This console cycle is doing worse than the Xbox One, and the Xbox One was a disaster at launch, was really bad. And I think the Xbox Series X is a great console, so the fact that it's doing even worse than the Xbox One is concerning for the Xbox brand.
Totally.
And like you said, it's a Game Pass machine for a lot of people, not everybody, but a lot of people.
This guy.
And they're doing well on PC. I don't know if that's the future of Xbox, is just all Game Pass and cloud streaming and stuff like that. But I think that if I'm Xbox and I'm seeing full sales of games on other platforms and how much money they're raking in over there, that might turn to the priority.
Yeah.
They very reasonably, and this is, I'm not a mathematician or whatever, but could be making more money on other platforms selling full price games than they are eventually on Game Pass. So
yeah, I mean, right now the big question is Game Pass is obviously the best deal in games, as it has attempted to be for the past we're approaching a decade. We're on the better half of a decade than 0 years. But I think that you look at something like Doom when it's 3 million players, but it hasn't sold an abundant amount because a lot of people are playing it on Game Pass and they're playing it elsewhere. Sure, that moves units of Game Pass subscriptions, but it's could we be making a lot more money if we had those 3 million players all spending $70 to go and pick up the latest and greatest from id? Probably. What's
interesting is that I think it might just be a Doom problem for sales on that game. Put something like Forza Horizon out on PlayStation, it sells, what was the rumor?
I have no idea.
I thought it was 2 million, 3 million.
That I can go and look that up.
Right. That doesn't sound right. It was a lot. Can you hit me with that information real fast? I don't want to talk completely on my ass here.
PlayStation, 1.4 million copies on PlayStation 5 in its launch week.
Yeah.
That's what we got.
It's ridiculous.
That's nuts.
The game is what is it? 3 years old? 4 years old at this point?
Yeah, for 4 years, 2021.
Oh, 21. Okay, yeah, we're talking about a game like that, and it potentially is outselling Doom of the Dark Ages. That's bad.
I do think that for Forza sales is a little bit interesting. We always forget about how many people love racing video games. I was got a little side story for you. I was at GameSpot doing what, Connor? Or GameStop, not GameSpot. What was I doing? Trying to buy Clair Obscur on physical for literally the past month. I check in once a week just to try to buy this game, just to support Sandfall and everything. And they did not have it. But the person before me, he just picked up a PS5. The first game he bought was Gran Turismo 7. And I'm like, oh yeah, I forget that these types of games sell like hotcakes all the time. So maybe Forza is just selling well because there's a lot of racing fans out there. But also, yeah, of course it's selling well over on PlayStation. There's a great install base over there. And when you provide that install base with one of the best titles in the past 5 years, it's going to sell well. I think that need to go back to like the phrasing that I love so much. Great studios make great games, but also people buy great games. Like if there's a game out there and you're doing really well, people will show up for it. 33 days, 3.3 million copies for Clair Obscur.
But Doom: The Dark Ages is a great game too.
Yeah.
It's not selling well, so it's just confusing.
I'm saying that because I think that a lot of those people that would pick it up is playing it on Game Pass currently.
Interesting.
I think that that's
definitely possible.
Because also we're talking about like
Forza's also on Game Pass and it's been on Game Pass and it's been out for 4 years.
That's
so like it, so like what's the excuse for that?
Yeah, I also do think that it's interesting to be wondering at this point what's the measure for success for these Xbox titles going forward? Because like we saw Indiana Jones, I want to say hit 4 million players a few months ago, and I think that was the number. And if that's the case, it's like that sounds like a good amount of players, but is that what Machine Games wants from something like that? I'd imagine no. You want something more. It's a major IP.
We also didn't hear any buzz for when it released on PlayStation either.
Yeah,
like. That number for Forza like is kind of unique as far. No, we heard stuff about Sea of Thieves as well. Like so it's not. Games definitely do sell well on PlayStation. It's just it seems to be what game is going to sell well from the Xbox catalog, and why one sells well over the other. I think is still TBD. I'm confused why Doom: The Dark Ages and Indiana Jones didn't blow up like sales wise on PlayStation.
Yeah, I think that those games might be more like I want to say niche, but it's Doom, so of course it's not niche. It's a major IP.
Yeah.
But I like part of me wants to be like maybe Doom isn't as big and bold as it was before. You got the loud Doom fans, but maybe I gotta how many players played Eternal? Like
on what? Just like
I'm just looking up Doom Eternal sales at this point. As of March 2020, it sold 3 million copies. So that sort of checks out 3 million copies for Doom. 3 million players for Doom.
Yeah.
Like that's so. And if it was successful enough for them to want to go and make another one, I think that they are hitting that mark that they kind of want to hit. Like they're seeing the results that they set out to see. But it goes back to the question of like, if you want to go and like really get people on PlayStation to buy your game, put Halo over there. Put Gears over there. People will play.
I'm
those
very
games.
Curious to see what Gears does on PlayStation in August.
What's your guess? What's the number? Over 1 million players or under 1 million players?
Shoot, I think
first week.
First week?
Yeah, I'll give you a week.
Oh, it sells 1 million the first week for sure. I think the trajectory though is the interesting thing.
I'm saying 1 million on PlayStation.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Could it sell 5 million?
No.
Gears.
You saying Gears like it like really it does to a lot of people, but at the same time, I think that Gears 4, Gears 5, a lot of those people that have heard about, hey, Gears has fallen off recently, they don't want to hop into Gears 1. Especially Gears 1 isn't a polished modern video game by all accounts. Anybody that I've seen play this recently is like, it's kind of a slog. Let's get to Gears 2. Let's get to Gears 3. The fact that there isn't 2 and 3 day one on there is like,
if it was a collection, 5 million is like
I could see it selling a lot more. And not just because there's more content over there, it's just because more of the really good content is now coming over.
I'm curious if multiplayer will play a factor here. Like if people get really into the multiplayer and are really about it, then I think it could sell particularly well. But if people are like get through the campaign and like it's fine, and then they just like drop it, I think that could hurt sales overall.
When are we hopping in Battlefront 2, Connor? Speaking of multiplayer, the people have been asking, when are we hopping in?
I'm too busy playing Elden Ring Night Rain. I have my priorities straight.
It's going to be Night Rain, and then it's going to be Mario Kart, and then it's going to be Rematch and FBC Firebreak, and then it's going to be Death Stranding.
Okay. I was like, when is Death Stranding? I was going to say Death Stranding right after Night Rain, but it's like, Jesus Christ, we have so many games in between now and then.
Exciting stuff. We don't have it in here or anything, but Kojima going and having a presentation for another one. Are you going to be like locked and loaded to that trailer? Are you excited to see another trailer?
No,
not at all.
Not at all.
But I do think we have an SGF story down the line. I do think it's very interesting that event is happening and Kojima's at SGF. We can have that conversation in a moment.
That's a good point. And okay, we'll talk about it then.
Headline number 2, EA cancels Black Panther game, closes Cliffhanger Games. This is Rebecca Valentine at IGN. Quote, Electronic Arts is canceling its planned Black Panther game and shutting down developer Cliffhanger Games, IGN has learned. In an email sent to staff from EA Entertainment, President Laura Miele said that these changes, alongside other recent cancellations and layoffs, are being done to, quote, sharpen our focus and put our creative energy behind the most significant growth opportunities, end quote. In addition to closing Cliffhanger Games and canceling Black Panther, EA is also laying off some individuals on both its mobile and central teams. When asked for an exact number of individuals impacted, EA declined to comment. IGN understands the total number of affected individuals in this wave is less than roughly 300 roles cut last month across Respawn and EA's fan care teams, but cannot confirm by how much. End quote. Connor, obviously layoff stories are always hard. Our hearts goes out to everyone that gets affected by anything that comes from teams closing down. But when it comes to the Black Panther game being canceled, were you excited for this one? Was this one on your radar?
Here's the thing with the Black Panther game from EA is, first and foremost, the only thing I really care about here is the fact that Cliffhanger Studios is getting shut down and people are losing their jobs. That's like the main core of this, that's the disappointing part. But when it comes to the game that we're talking about, we already have another Black Panther game.
Yeah.
And we've never seen anything from this one. So would I say that I was hyped for this game? No, because I don't know anything about it. Would I say that I even remembered this game was happening? Also no. I feel similar about this game as I do with is it EA as well for the Iron Man game?
Yep.
We haven't seen anything from that game. If that game gets canceled, I will feel the exact same way, where it's just like, fuck, another game canceled, another studio shut down. That sucks. But I don't have any hype for the Iron Man game because I don't even know what the fuck it looks like.
Yeah.
I just have images in my head of what it potentially could look like. So I'm disappointed about the studio. I'm disappointed about people losing their jobs. I am excited for Rise of Hydra 1943 to get a Black Panther game. And it's cool that that's still happening. I know that's separate, obviously, but same IP. I would have been curious to see what this would have all looked like in an end state, in an end product. But yeah, like I don't really have strong feelings about a lot of these games that we don't know anything about.
Yeah,
So,
I think that something that was really interesting for me was when this news broke, I went to my illustrious game list of just all the games that I know about that exist. And I was like, oh, I got to take the Black Panther game off that list. And I just didn't have it on the list.
Yeah.
And so it's like, am I upset about this? Yeah. Did I, similarly, like I forgot that this game existed. You know, like this was not, I don't think on anyone's major radar of things, unless you're a major Black Panther fan. In the same way that when the Wonder Woman game got canceled, a lot of people were like, unless you were a Wonder Woman fan, I was like, oh yeah, that game's happening. In the same way that like KOTOR Remake right now is still in the ether, we just don't know anything about it. If that gets canceled, I think it would be like, oh yeah, that was happening. There's so many of those types of titles that are such question marks that I don't know if they're going to come out or not. The thing that I don't ever want to see is if a game gets canceled, let's hope that we can keep a team on and have them produce whatever next cool idea that they want to, compared to laying off this amount of talent and the amount of response that has come from this, with the amount of people being like, the talent on this team is ridiculous. I really do hope that a lot of these people go land on their feet and find somewhere else to be amazingly talented.
how much do you think this is Marvel superhero fatigue at this point? Like Thunderbolts, we both liked quite a bit. Did very poorly at the box office. We have Fantastic Four coming out soon. If that movie isn't great and doesn't do well at the box office, I think that you got to kind of start to get really worried about people's willingness to be excited about Marvel / superhero IP. So I'm curious to see how much that ripples throughout the industry at this point, because there's a lot of superhero games coming out.
Well, this was not a headline I wanted to pull in for this story, but it's an interesting tidbit to add in. I'm just going to read the headline. This is Rebecca Valentine over at IGN. EA is still making at least 3 Marvel games even after Black Panther cancellation, and obviously in this story they include the Iron Man game. There's other titles that we don't necessarily know about. I think that it's really interesting to go and have that context of like, I don't feel like any of those titles are safe at this point, mainly because of what you just said.
I don't even know how an Iron Man game's going to be fun. I'm going to be honest with you.
The VR Iron Man game, I'm really curious about. I kind of want to play that one day because apparently it was a decent ride.
Yeah.
But like, I kind of agree. Like, it reminds me of like the floaty nature of like Anthem and everything, and like
I guess that's
that type
fair.
of.
But people
deal.
like how Anthem feels.
Yeah, and so maybe there's something there, but I think that right now, dialing back the superhero games to the IP that are really going to bang for people, like Spider-Man, like Batman, like I really do think a Black Panther game, if you can figure it out properly, would do awesome. We're talking about a franchise that had a movie about a decade ago that hit $1 billion and was a cultural phenomena. So I think that this isn't the right case, but really like shrinking down. We're talking about 3 games. We don't know all the titles that are going to be Marvel based or which characters are going to be based off of. But you really need to make some of those decisions really, really well right now, so we don't get 2, 3, 4 years into development time and then have to be like, a lot of people aren't vibing with Marvel right now. Let's kick it down the let's kick it down the chute. So yeah,
I think we're going to see that. I think that's Fantastic Four. And then a year gap, and then these Avengers movies is going to be do or die. I also think Superman, I know it isn't Marvel, but it's another superhero IP.
Yeah.
If that movie needs to do well, and I think that if they can get this on the right path when it comes to the movie front, and you can get like the general public to be back on board with superheroes, because it does not feel that way right now, then a lot of these games are going to have a better future. But I think that as it stands right now, I don't have a lot of faith in these games coming out.
Do we see Blade this weekend?
I was talking about that last night for the first time in a minute. I think that it's definitely possible.
Yeah.
Is it likely? No. But I think that I wouldn't be shocked if it showed up. I would love to see more of Blade. So
I think that could be a Keeley thing for not this event potentially. I could see that at a Gamescom, or I could see that at a Game Awards again, because they showed it off at Game Awards. Keeley loves the through lines in his shows. I think that it would be like, we can make this happen, but not necessarily like the biggest headline. Like, we need to get this on Keeley stage. They could obviously show it at their own showcase and have it open or close the show, just because it's not just the IP. It is it's Arcane, right?
Yep.
Yeah, they're them just kicking ass and taking names, and what they do. That's all that team does, is make great games. So I do think that this is a little bit of a terrifying warning shot, though, to everyone that is not currently working on Spider-Man 3 over at Insomniac or Wolverine. Man, or we have an SGF story to close out the show and everything, which we'll hop into. It'll be a fun little way to close out and see what's happening next with some of the showcase season and everything. But before that, headline: Pokemon Legends Z through A and Pokemon Legends Z through A Nintendo Switch 2 edition have a release date. Pokemon Presents set for July. This is Wesley Impel at IGN. Quote: the Pokemon Company has announced the release date for the highly anticipated Pokemon Legends Z through A and Pokemon Legends Z through A Nintendo Switch 2 edition, October 16th, 2025. Pre-orders begin on June 5th. There's a new Pokemon Presents presentation set for July 22nd, quote, for the latest news and updates from the world of Pokemon, end quote. The Pokemon Company also announced the release of brand new Mega Evolution merchandise available now on the Pokemon Center, end quote. Connor, we have another one of the horsemen for 2025 release dates. Nintendo dropped. How excited are you for Pokemon in October?
Here's the thing about Pokemon Legends Z to A. When I get a new console, my willingness to buy anything goes way up for some reason. When I bought the Switch 1, I bought like every release title. When I bought my PS4, I bought Knack. Like, I don't know what's wrong with me during the first 6 months, but I'm just excited about the new tech and I want stuff to play on it. So I probably will buy this on Switch 2 as somebody who's not a huge Pokemon fan. So I think it's interesting when it comes to this game and this announcement, where it is. We're talking October, and the lineup for the rest of the year. I think the pieces are falling into place. All we need now is Kirby Air Riders and Metro Prime.
Yep.
What month is not going to get a game is really the question. Is it going to be August or November? Those are the two.
I think it's August.
Okay.
I think we're going to set up for a really strong holiday season.
I think so too. That's what I said as well. I think somebody in our Discord said that Air Riders or Metroid in August, and then you take then September would be the other one, and then November would be off or whatever, or September is off or something.
I think August is off.
Yeah, I mean, I agree.
Yeah, I think that we're going to get a break in the summer, and then we're going to load up for a amazing winter period when these consoles, hopefully, the manufacturing will speed back up in a way after this initial major stint of sales when it comes to just the launch of the console. Get ready for the holiday season. Hey, there's another 5-10 million consoles that are just on the market. Let's go and have the games to go and sell those titles, especially when you have a new Pokemon game coming out.
Do you think any other game gets announced for this year that we don't know about?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah. You are forgetting about two things, though.
What?
And you got to put some respect on their name. Not in the sense that I think that these games are going to be very well done, but I think that the fact that they market these games. You have Drag X Drive, and you have the new Hyrule Warriors games.
That's true.
Those games are going to help fill in some of these gaps.
Do we have a release date for Hyrule Warriors?
I don't think so. Oh, or maybe we do.
I think we just got that semi-recently. I remember, shout out to Master Diz, who sends all the news stories and keeps us updated for in our Discord for a lot of the breaking news.
I don't see a date. We just got Winter 2025 on it. So yeah, I think that if we're talking shop, we can literally say that there's a first party title or a partnership first party title if you want to talk about Hyrule Warriors partnering with Koei Tecmo for that. I think that we could just write off this year at this point, being like, we know exactly what this year is. With that being said, that's not going to happen.
Is it exciting enough though? You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like with 3 Switch one titles in there, or is it 2? Just Metroid and Pokemon?
Yep.
Yeah, I guess so. Just those 2, like, and then everything else. I don't think
they're giving us
it's enough.
5 first-party titles to play on the Switch 2.
It's just I don't know what the banger is other than Mario Kart. Bonanza, it just does not sound like it's gonna be it for a lot of people based off of all the previews.
Are we going to bet against Nintendo? That's the question. And
do we have a bet for Bonanza?
No, I don't think we do.
Metacritic score?
I don't think we do. By the way, I do owe you a donut for Sunday Shoot for Night Rain. Yeah, yeah.
Easiest bet of my life. Apparently, I am shocked by that Metacritic score. But the interesting thing about the reviews for Night Rain is that I think a lot of the points are pretty fair. I just look at it from a different perspective.
I do think that that's like we can talk about that when we talk about the review conversation, because I think it's a fun one to have post Night Rain for sure. I think if you played this game with 3 people,
the way that it is marketed, the way that it is supposed to be played, like Mikey in our Discord, I keep shouting out the Discord. So he's like, it's called Left 4 Dead, not Left 1 Dead. It's like you're supposed to play it with 4 people. This is clearly supposed to be played with 3 people. It's designed for that. So why do you expect it to be fun with 1 person? I feel like it's just a gesture of goodwill for them to put the single player in there or whatever. So your Elden Ring solo fans can have something that they can play on their own, or you want to grind remembrances on your own or something.
If you play this game the way it's supposed to be played, it's a 9 out of 10 game. If you play this game not the way it's supposed to be played, which I'm seeing reviews of like 6s, 7s, and 8s, and they talk about like it's in the game, so I'm going to review it, and it's like, yeah, I totally understand the score of a 7 on this title. I also think, though, if you play the game that's supposed to be played, it's a 9 out of 10 game. And that's why when you and I played it my total hour was like 46 hours or something when it was all said and done. I'm like, I had a 9 out of 10 experience the entire time, but that's because I played it the way that it was supposed to be played the entire time. Yeah. So we do not have a bet on Bonanza. Do you want to put a bet on it?
I think that there's a very real possibility this is like around an 82.
I'll take an over on an 82.
Yeah, I don't know if I want to set the line at that. 85?
84.5. Give me the 85.
No deal. Come on.
Actually, fine. I'll do 80.
We're talking about Nintendo. They usually hit in the 90s. I feel like I'm giving you a lot of wiggle room here at 85.
I'm just going to go 85.5.
So I get 85 and below.
Yep.
Yes. Okay.
85.5. I have the higher. But I do think that, like you said, what's the banger? It's like, I don't know which one will be it. My bet is that it's Mario Kart. I think Mario Kart World is going to be a 90 plus on Metacritic, which isn't an insane thing to say. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is a 92 on Metacritic. I'm not even expecting for sure 92. If I had to throw out a prediction, I would say 92.
Yeah.
But 90 or 91 sounds very reasonable. And if that's the case, guess what? That's a mother effing banger. Like, it's one of the highest reviewed games this year, automatically, immediately. And I would assume that it's going to be the case.
Going back to Pokemon real fast, because that's what the story is I think there's just not a lot to talk about here, just because I feel like we know what this game is. We've seen enough of it to really kind of get the gist of it. It's the Pokemon game for this year.
Yep.
And the interesting bit of this story is just when the release date is in reference to everything
Totally.
else.
Yeah. That's why we're talking about that aspect of it.
I think this is perfectly expected, though. This is about where I thought it was going to be. It was this or November. It was one of the two.
There are a couple things that will relate back to this story. I do want to say, I do have sad news. July 22nd, myself and Connor are away. We will not be reacting to the Pokemon Presents. The good news is I expect it to be a very bad Pokemon Presents.
Do you think there's a chance we see the next gen? They've done that before, right?
I think we've not seen the next. Normally, it is. I don't think so. I think the last time we saw next gen was the February Pokemon Day presentation, and Arceus was out in January.
Gotcha.
So I think that they have not had that level of crossover. I expect to see the next gen on Pokemon Day this February. Yeah. That's why I feel pretty confident that this is going to be a swing and a miss presentation. I think that they're going to talk about Switch 2 upgrades for Scarlet and Violet. I think that they're going to talk about Legends E through A some more. And then I think that they're going to talk about some anime or some merchandise, and that's going to be the presentation.
What is the animated Pokemon show? Pokemon Resort?
There's something like there, or Island, or just them hanging out. I don't know. Yeah. I know what you're talking about.
Concierge or something like that.
Yeah.
Right?
Concierge? Yeah, I don't know.
Concierge.
Yeah. But yeah, it's going to be a good time whenever that drops. But I do think that this all is leading into one conversation, Connor. Let's be real. It is a Summer Game Fest conversation because Nintendo is back. Your next headline is Summer Game Fest 2025 partners confirmed, including the return of Nintendo. This is Chris going at VGC. Quote, as posted on the event's official X account, more than 60 partners will be participating in this year's Summer Game Fest when it takes place in Los Angeles next month. PlayStation and Xbox are among the participants as usual, but this time Nintendo has returned to join the list of partners. Nintendo wasn't listed as a partner for either the 2024 or 2023 events, instead choosing to host its own Nintendo Direct presentations later in the month. It's confirmation as a partner in this year's show is not necessarily confirmation that a Nintendo Direct will take place during the Summer Game Fest period. It may simply mean that, for example, a trailer for a Nintendo game may appear during the main Summer Game Fest presentation on June 6th. End quote. I wanted to bring this in to the Pokemon conversation because why the heck wasn't a trailer dropped at SGF for that date? So easy. Would have been so easy. Would have been such a good bone to throw.
They might have something else.
We didn't have that conversation, and I think the other conversation is it's a Pokemon company, and they just don't want to do that. Like they don't often show their shit at Nintendo stuff. It's normally on their own Pokemon Day or their own Pokemon Presents. And of course sometimes they roll out the big dogs for certain directs. With like obviously the Switch 2 Direct, I would have been shocked if we didn't get any Pokemon, but I also wouldn't have been too shocked because it is Pokemon. Nintendo returning. Let's start here. Have you seen the partner list?
Yes.
Great. Nintendo returning. It's an interesting one because it's Nintendo Switch 2 logo. You know what I'm saying? It's not Nintendo. It's like the Switch 2 logo. Mm-hmm. Are people getting their hopes up a little bit too much for Nintendo first party titles when it could just be, hey, this new game is coming to Switch 2 potentially?
Yeah, it could be absolutely nothing. Honestly, I think that is almost more likely that it's kind of just there to kind of bolster the list a little bit and be like, we got Nintendo back or whatever, and it could just be some weird partnership with a third party game, and like that's it.
But Connor, that's such a lame conversation. So let's fucking dream a little bit. What are they showing if Nintendo's showing something?
I mean, I said Duskbloods during the SGF predictions, just because Keeley and From Software love each other. So I think it's possible that it's that.
Could we get a Duskblood's date, do you think?
It just feels really close to the release of Night Rain that it would kind of be weird to be like, we have another multiplayer game coming up, and it's coming out this date or whatever. I think that's weird.
Do you think that that's stepping on its toes a little bit too much, or could it be a good marketing punch of like, hey, you know how you're playing this and you're loving this right now? Get excited. We got another one coming.
Yeah.
I think that there's something there. Let's go on the medium version of this. Do we get a Dragon Drive date? Do we get a Metroid Prime 4 date? And that's what it is.
I think that's possible as well. Just a small update on a first party thing, just a gesture of goodwill to build that relationship between them and SGF and the Game Awards and Keighley in general to just have that opportunity to show stuff on a stage that you don't usually see Nintendo stuff on.
And I think that this is also where we need to have the big, broader conversation of we currently know not only what Nintendo's doing seemingly for 2025, we also know we got Rhythm Heaven next year and Tamagotchi Life next year. Like, we kind of know Nintendo's back for the next foreseeable future when it comes to some of these titles. Maybe this is an opportunity to announce a new game potentially, but if you have a Switch Direct seemingly in June, which feels like that's been rumored a couple times now, do you just leave nothing for Keighley or keep it small? But if you don't have that, then you can go a little bit bigger, right?
I mean, I think if they do a direct, you do a similar thing to what PlayStation did last year, and it's fine. Where you have your showcase / state of play, and then you give them Lego Horizon, where it's like it's a small thing, and you just have your own presentation that has all the hype stuff in it before that.
Yeah, that's a great poll. It could be something small. We talk about all the time on the betting special. It just needs to show up. Just needs to give a little something, and it counts. And I think that that's what we're looking at when it comes to the partner list here, where it's like, yeah, I think that's going to be something small. Like Monster Hunter Wilds coming to Switch 2. I don't know if it could run on it, but it can run on the Series X, so potentially, or a Series S, so potentially it could run over there. What?
It's so weird how like everything can technically run on this.
Yeah.
We think because of the Series S, but I don't know. Like, is GTA 6 going to run on this thing? If it can run on the Series S, it's reasonable to believe that it can. So everything's up in the air for ports to the Switch 2. I think is really interesting. Really going to be very. I'm very intrigued to see how it pans out in the years to come.
The last thing was this news story. Obviously, is the biggest headline is Nintendo returning to the stage, but we also have Square Enix on this list. And I think that obviously the questions start to arise of like, how hype could this be? Are you expecting anything hype from Square, or do you think it's going to be a similar boat? And this leads me to the major question of where are you at with SGF? The rumors are starting to swirl with some of these ideas of what actually this showcase could be. We could be
Splinter Cell thing?
What?
Splinter Cell thing today?
Yeah, exactly. I think we're getting Splinter Cell this weekend for sure. And that was part of my predictions of like, yeah, we're going to get Splinter Cell or Sands of Time in these showcases because Ubisoft has to show something somewhere. But yeah, we're trying to figure out what the cadence of this show actually looks like. Where are you at with SGF?
I'm excited. My expectations will remain low.
Yeah.
Just to kind of keep everything in check. I do want to ask a question about the SGF moniker, Summer Game Fest moniker in general. Like during the PS5 reveal, like part of SGF, Summer Game Fest, was the Future of PlayStation event, right? Like they kind of put that in there.
Keighley basically, guy's pretty good at marketing, and that team, I'm not just going to only give Keighley the credit, that everyone that works under the Keighley brand and to put on the shows, really good at marketing. Like, kind of unbelievably good at getting the word out on some of these events. He went and said, everything's part of SGF. The Xbox showcase this week is part of SGF,
right, that's what I'm saying. So, like, Square Enix being on the list, if they have a Final Fantasy IX anniversary event in July, and he's like, it's SGF, they're a partner for this or whatever, it's the summer of games.
Normally,
does this count?
Normally he sticks with the June moniker for partners, I feel like.
Okay.
I feel like that's normally the case.
Right.
It's within June. But yeah, no, there's been PlayStation, hey, that event's happening, it's part of this. Capcom, they're probably going to shit out a presentation, and I legitimately mean shit out a presentation. And that's gonna be part of Summer Game Fest, you know. Like they like to. He likes to get all the branding, to have his live stream playing, to have that moniker playing, to go and get more eyes on these types of events. I'm at the point right now. I'm starting to hype myself up a little bit. Like it's not like where I was at pre-Switch 2 event or even like a normal state of play where it's like, yeah, I'm like a 7 or 8. I think I'm around like a 6.5-ish. But before I was at like a 3. Like I was like, you cannot get me excited about Summer Game Fest. Seeing the partner list, seeing what potentially could be out there, I'm like, I also feel like at this point, we would have heard from Jeff now if it was bad. I think that Jeff would have had the tweet already prepared, getting the expectations through the floor, lowering. Normally, it's about like compared to the day before, hey, we got some good stuff.
Has he started doing the live streams yet? Or when does that start?
Normally Sundays.
Just one Sunday beforehand, or is it all week? Like
it's normally 1 or 2 or 3 live streams beforehand. Some for Game Awards, it seemingly is like a couple weeks out. Hey, 2 weeks, this is what's up. Hey, 1 week. I'm very curious to see when he eventually does it, because I do expect, I have my notifications on for, I think, every Twitch person, which I do not need because I follow a lot of people on Twitch and a lot of people I don't watch anymore and stuff like that. But I do have those notifications on for Summer Game Fest. Yeah. I will be tuning in whenever he shows up.
I ask because last year he definitely tempered expectations during those.
It's always interesting because you want people to watch it no matter what. Mm-hmm. So he said,
also don't want people to hate it and be mad.
Exactly. And same with the Game Awards. Like, I think that he did a great job for the past few Game Awards being like, yeah, we got some great shit. Yeah, it's going to be good. And then for this one, he really held his cards close to his chest for the Game Awards, being like, we got a good show. Yeah, we're doing a lot of things for the 10 year. And then it was unbelievable. So I think that him holding his cards close to his chest as of right now and not pushing this too much, I do expect we'll get a trailer for Summer Game Fest, as we do for previous Summer Game Fest and for the Game Awards, and it's going to give some inclination of like, what type of hype are you trying to bring with this? Because there's going to be cool games from earlier this year. There's going to be some trailers for unreleased things, but like, what type of hype are you trying to set the tone with? Like, is this trailer going to include like something like Phantom Blade Zero, or are you going to like throw in like teases of really like major franchises? I'm very curious to see where it comes down with that, but I am very excited about this. I want to go back though. Square being on this list, does it do anything for you?
Kingdom Hearts 4.
Yeah,
maybe it's possible. Final Fantasy VII Remake, the title. I think you can get away with just walking on stage and saying the title, and it would be a reveal, like some hype moment. You don't even need to show it a trailer.
I do too. I think that you could have a T-shirt. Boom.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
you could go on stage and do the Final Fantasy IX reveal potentially.
That's another big one.
And then show the T-shirt after that and be like, one more thing on this or whatever. For an announcement from Square Enix, but they just kind of said that they were going to be quiet for the next year or two just to try to get their ducks in a row. And I don't really know. I feel like if you're going to do that, you want to kind of keep a low profile. And I think the biggest of announcements you can make if you're keeping a low profile and it still be like a good announcement is Final Fantasy IX. The other thing would be like a step below that would be Tactics. The rumor of Final Fantasy Tactics. I think that could show up here too.
That would be big time. Yeah. I think that there's a lot on the table. Somebody mentioned this, I believe, on the MinMax podcast, and it was a really fun prediction. I really liked it. What if we get another Final Fantasy : Stranger of Paradise-esque game? Like where it's like they throw that moniker there, but we just want to do something wild with the franchise.
I would like to see more weird, wacky Final Fantasy, but I don't think that game did very well. So I think they're probably sitting there like, we're not going to go back to the drawing board on this. Though there are Stranger of Paradise truthers that I know. So, and
then the last thing I want to mention on here is PlayStation's showing up to the dance. They have something. It could be a state of play that goes under the banner, or it could be them showing a trailer to something. It could be the Death Stranding thing. That's a good point. Let's bring in Kojima now because Death Stranding, it's Death Stranding that under the Summer Game Fest banner. We can find that out real fast. But the reason I asked that question is if it's just the event that is out and we are now currently seeing if it's there, it is part of it. This the Summer Game Fest website does have. They are officially a partner. Yep, they're officially a partner. That qualifies. There's got to be something there. They got to give Jeff. They always give Jeff something. It feels like at this point, always another Death Stranding trailer. I would not be shocked. Well, here's the conversation we have to have now. Kojima is in the building and is doing something for Summer Game Fest. on Friday that week. It's not just that event. He's doing something for Friday that week. It's not going to be. I'm convinced at this point we're getting a OD trailer and we're getting a release date for that game.
What is that game?
I don't know.
Is it a game?
It's
really?
an experience, Connor.
Yeah. I don't have any feelings towards that game yet. I love Kojima, but I need to see this to believe it, honestly. So
I mean,
I trust him, but
yeah, I think that most likely it's going to be something that is big and epic and awesome.
big. You think this is gonna be a big video game?
Big as in the sense of like scope.
He's been making it concurrently with Death Stranding too. I don't believe that this can be a massive game.
I mainly meant like in concepts, not in the sense of how long it's going to take to play this video game. I expect it to be a 10-hour game. Like, and I think that would be awesome to get a 10-hour horror Kojima game. We're talking about the guy that made PT. Like, we were talking about this man can do a horror experience really well, and I think that he's going to do so. I also think that it's very interesting to have the Death Stranding brand be some of these like crazy major swings, whereas OD feels like, okay, we're just going to dial in on psychological horror and go and pursue that. And having those ideas be so separate, I think creatives often are so good at being like, all right, I need to no longer focus on this one thing. Let's take a little bit of time to focus on something else and oversee something. And that's how you get new and fresh ideas, is bouncing between projects and bouncing between ideas. So I expect we do get OD. Is there a chance that we get something else? Could it be, I need to throw it out there, could it be another podcast? Could it be him just doing something wacky and wild that where it isn't a game?
Yeah, of course it can be. It's Kojima. Another PT situation where they do a demo of some kind.
That would be sick
for everybody for OD.
That would be sick.
That would be really awesome. I'd be about that. But I seriously cannot get over the idea that this is potentially just another look at Death Stranding.
We're getting a Death Stranding event 2 days later.
Does not matter. Doesn't matter at all. Kojima seems to really like showing this game off. Like, that trailer was 10 minutes.
Connor,
it was so long.
I watched that trailer. Somebody at me in the Discord like a couple weeks ago and was like, how many times? And I was like, I think I've watched that 10-minute trailer around 12 times at this point. AKA, I've watched 2 hours of that trailer because it's so good. It's so hype. Just a little side note, we can now talk about this a little bit more. I obviously had to put Death Stranding down for quite some time. Played some Death Stranding last night for a few hours. That game's really good. I'm so... The big thing that I didn't think I would like, and because a lot of people have like been like, this isn't for me or anything, the combat of that game's fun. I really enjoy it.
It's fine.
When it comes to the people and not like the big monsters or anything like that.
The mules.
Yeah, I think that like taking those guys out, running, turning, shooting, just works for me really well.
I wish they weren't in the game.
Really?
I'm gonna be honest, yeah. They're just kind of like a roadblock. I think the BTs are enough of a stressful thing to think about, whereas and is relatively fun and doesn't break up the gameplay. You're still just going from point A to point B, delivering stuff. You just have to slow down in that moment. Every single time I'm dealing with the mules and they like are actually all over me and like knocking my packages off, I'm like, this is just fucking annoying. And I end up just using the bola gun.
Yeah, bolas.
And just kind of wrapping them up with a rope or whatever, and like that's it. And it's very basic.
I like how basic it is. I really do.
Yeah. And then sometimes I forget to have one on me though, and then I'm like, oh fuck.
True.
Like, okay, time to just run.
We got more SGF stuff to talk about right here with our last headline. Second Persona 4 voice actor says they're not in the rumored remake. This is Liam Croft at Push Square. Quote, Aaron Fitzgerald, who voiced Chie in Persona 4, has now gone public alongside Yuri Lowenthal to confirm she's not reprising her role in the rumored JRPG remake either. On Blue Sky, she said, quote, for those asking, I have not been asked to reprise my role as Chie Sadonaka in Persona 4 remake, end quote. This is just the meat and potatoes. Apparently there's another one that just came out for the voice acting. What is the likelihood that this game doesn't exist at this point?
Oh, it exists 100%. My confusion is, why is this happening now? Like, why are these conversations coming out? Are these voice actors saying this at this moment? Why not earlier? How long has this game been in development? I'm very curious as to, is it because the reveal is right around the corner that they're saying it now? It's like, I don't know. Why would they know that? You know what I mean? That like, It's all very confusing to me. This confirms it exists very much. I do not think it confirms that it's getting revealed anytime soon.
Connor,
Why would it?
When there's smoke, there's fire. And we're getting so much smoke all of a sudden.
Is this a marketing push then for the game?
I kind of feel like there's something to be said about that, where it's like, yeah, I think that there is so... Here's my assumption, and I can be completely wrong, but this is the thread that I'm pulling with this situation in particular. Somebody from Atlas was like, hey, we're doing the trailer soon for this, by the way. If you want to get ahead of it, just a heads up. Just like a kind, good graces sort of thing of like, yeah, just say that you're not, you can, this is happening, but we want to be nice and give you the heads up. And then they take to Blue Sky and they make that tweet. Yuri also has apparently deleted his tweet. So I think that big uppers at Atlas might have been like, take it down, dude, please. Like, we're about to reveal this thing. I'm at the point that we are getting this upcoming weekend. I don't know if it's Xbox or at Keeley's.
I would expect Xbox, personally.
I would also expect Xbox. I would not be shocked if it's at Keeley's, though. Like, I would say 80% chance it's at Xbox. 20% chance that he was able to pull it in. Sega's one of those partners that's on the list. So, of course, it could be another Sonic game or something. But, like, it also very well could be this rumored remake. I do think, though, as of right now, as we're starting to set the table between the partners list and between stories like this and Kojima being on stage now being confirmed, I assume that we'll get a couple more confirmations in the next couple days of certain projects that could be there. There's also rumored games that are swirling around of things that could show up at SGF. I think that we're leaning towards a really solid Summer Game Fest week, where last time I felt like every single story that came out about Summer Game Fest beforehand was like, it's not going to be great this time around.
Yeah.
If Jeff comes out and says once again, it's like a 7 out of 10 good type showcase, I'm gonna be like, oh no. But I'm hoping that he comes in and as the sauce boss and says, we do got a good one this time around. Shout out to the people that make this show possible, the amazing people over on patreon.com, supporting us, backing us, making this show happen, keeping the lights and mics on. Thank you so much to our Patreon members, people like MG Dunbar,
Mr. Munchies,
Farmer Spud,
Rocket Tater,
Nofi,
Apathetic Titan,
JC Falcon,
Swampy Bits,
Jaxie,
Sconzi,
Cheery Sentry,
Striking 1978,
Tyler D,
Scooterman,
Das Scoopy,
Dinkelberg Rules,
Centuro,
Hook'em Horns,
Go Nash,
Neutral Sphere,
Charlie W,
Easton C,
Stooby Dooby Doo, a Stooby Dooby Doo,
Calvin M,
we nuke this kingdom,
Crispy,
DJ Zach B,
JC,
Woolly,
Jacob D,
Big Mac,
Metal Nate,
The Patty Cake,
Bear Pog,
Yogi,
Dom,
Holden M,
Colin C,
Brack,
Voodoo,
Dr. Pookie Bear,
Alex Golden,
Andrew H,
Master Diz,
Jesse F,
Only One Rufus,
Drifter X1 Skirt,
Presto,
Maverick,
Goops,
JMAP3,
Ali Benally,
Michael.
and Kingdom Hearts Sucks.
Thank you so much for supporting this show. We will see you in the next one. Peace out.